Good morning, everyone. It's lovely to see so many people in the room and hear lots of great chat going on, because very often that's the value of these sessions, is all the networking. There is a lot of information in these slides. Please do not feel overwhelmed. You're going to get the copies of all of these presentations. They'll be on tourismni.com afterwards. But hopefully you will find this both useful and inspiring. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the RoI, Republic of Ireland market performance, tell you a little bit about what we're doing to help support you to drive business from that market, share with you some new learnings we've recently just brought in, and tell you a little bit about our activity in the markets. I'm also going to touch briefly on the Northern Ireland domestic market as well, and tell you a little bit about the opportunities that we have for you to get engaged and join us. So in February of this year, Ipsos Mori conducted some independent research for us to look at how you want to engage in markets. Again, first of quite a few charts. The important takeouts in this is 12% of the respondents said that they were seeking business and doing business in the Republic of Ireland market currently. Around half, 51%, were keen to grow business, and 48% of businesses were keen to attract business from new markets. So again, very relevant to today. Those who did want to attract business from new markets, 73% saw that coming from overseas. 46% who wanted new business were looking to the Republic of Ireland market, so right on our doorstep. So, what is this market on our doorstep? It is showing strong growth, and it is a major opportunity for us. So, NISR stats for the last full year available were 2017, 237,000 holiday trips, up 49%, 9% of total holiday trips, worth 90 million, and importantly, because again it's all about money in the tills, up 29%, 10% of total revenue across all markets. So a significant market for us already. However, as Anya has already referred to, it still represents huge untapped potential. 2015, an independent task force was set up to look at the factors required for sustainable growth in the Republic of Ireland market. It set out a very clear ambition of £140 million business by 2025. And there were a number of reasons set out for that. You can find the task force report, again, on tourismni.com, should you wish to go through it in more detail. The Republic of Ireland market offers a number of very distinctive opportunities. Obviously, it's English-speaking, for a start, so that is one way that it's very easy to reach. It's right on our doorstep. The cost to reach and the cost to market in that are obviously they're smaller than some further markets further afield. It also offers the opportunity for business right across Northern Ireland. We know that 3/4 of visitors from this market stay outside Belfast, so again, regional dispersal. And they're also more likely to come to us off-season. So again, we know from you, you're actively looking at off-season business. There is real interest in Northern Ireland, and there's a strong positive economic outlook. So we've developed, Anya and the team have kindly developed a Republic of Ireland toolkit. I think they're on your tables there today. There's a huge amount of tips and tactics in there that will help you really get under the skin, taking all the learnings that were from the task force and built on over the time. I hope you find it useful. Again, there's an electronic copy on tourismni.com, but I think you'll find it's a really practical guide as to how to drive business from this market. I'll be around in the afternoon after the session for the clinics as well, so any questions you have, please feel free to give us a shout. The Republic of Ireland Task Force also consulted RoI industry about their views of what Northern Ireland had to offer, because again, they're both a key buyer and also a key competitor for us in this market. Northern Ireland was viewed by them as a hidden gem, so it offered a potential for real differentiation that hadn't fully been tapped into. So we need to build on that, play to our strengths and what's different. But it was also very clear, as an industry, we have some way to go. So we needed a greater hospitality focus, and we needed to think about those visitors who were coming to our doorstep. It said quite clearly, as an industry, we needed to pull together harder, longer and more consistently together for promotion. And we needed that real commitment to drive that business in the long term. It recognised the following year, food and drink in particular, which was named a couple of times, our food experiences in particular had come a long way. And that was again reflected in the research in terms of the importance of queues of a quality destination. It's felt that we offered some really immersive, good, authentic experiences. There was research that also indicated consumers in the Republic of Ireland market just didn't know what we had in terms of accommodation in particular, the variety of it and the quality of it. So we need to convey all of that information, and we needed to work together to bring that into one holistic experience. It also said we needed to invest in promotion consistently, not only ourselves in Tourism Northern Ireland, but the industry too. So in order to help grow this business together, again, Anya and Carolyn and the team have recently, with the help of Northern Ireland Hotels Federation, just conducted a learning journey. It was one of the actions that came out of the task force. It has recently just happened, so we're going to bring all the learnings back, consolidate those, and again, they'll be built into future toolkits and resources, again, on tourismni.com. In order to help you promote in this market, we've also run £400,000 cooperative marketing fund. We've had really, really positive feedback from hotels, attractions and experiences. We've listened very carefully to how you feel that can best benefit you. We understand that keeping it flexible, not being too rigid in the criteria, allows you to amplify the activity you're already doing. We've also heard that allows you to access media channels that perhaps you could not formerly afford. And the fact that wherever you were in Northern Ireland, you could participate, also received really good feedback. Again, we heard that you liked a nice, easy application process, not too many hurdles to go through. And again, the more detail we can give in advance, we've done 4 waves of this now. So we've learned that things like understanding VAT charges, processing, etc. If we can give you all of that in advance, it just smooths things. And again, as much notice as possible. So we will absolutely attempt to try and get those out to you as soon as we possibly can. Again, what you also said to us was feedback on what has worked and what hasn't worked from other people. And again, use the opportunity today to talk to people who are already in this market to learn what they find works and what doesn't work for them. You've also talked about interest in media buying efficiencies, and some of the examples we saw were where destinations pulled together and combined their marketing efforts. Some of the little quotes there will give you a feel for where people, how they felt it benefited them. Digital advertising results were a fantastic click-through rate of 31%. What does that actually mean? It means these campaigns are driving business. Worthwhile campaign that helped us edge into the RoI market, a market we've previously invested very little in. That's important. That's exactly what we were trying to achieve, was to get you promoting alongside us in this market. And then final quotation here is from the Hotel Federation. Business from the Republic of Ireland continues to increase significantly. It's clear this campaign and the supporting media has had a major impact in the marketplace. It's exactly what we're trying to achieve. When we all pull together, we can create so much more. Now, it's not that we don't want anyone from the Republic of Ireland market. There's not people we don't want. We absolutely want the more, the better. But in terms of our core segments, so who do we most want? The task force work identified 3 key segments, which together represent 45% of the market. I thought it'd be worthwhile just to show you a little video of each, which gives you an idea and a flavour of who they are. Again, there's a lot more detail in your toolkits and online, but I think there's nothing like seeing it and hearing it for you to be able to picture in your mind's eye who you're trying to reach. So, first of these is the active maximisers, and they represent about 10% of the marketplace.
When I go away for a few days, I really like to do something with them, you know. My boyfriend and I are pretty active, I suppose. We rarely just sit around at home. We go places, see things, do stuff, little bits of everything. History, culture, foodie stuff, outdoorsy stuff, little offbeat quirky things, lots really. Our friends are kind of similar, so we're always sharing stuff we like. It seems like someone's always just back from a weekend here or a few days there, whether it's in Europe or near home. We'll talk about the nicest hotels, some cute B&B, maybe cool restaurants or bars, or just some funky little places to see, stuff like that. We don't actually do that much planning really, but if we hear about something or something jumps out at us online or in the paper, we'll start from there. Like if there's a really good deal in a cool hotel or something. Then we'll have a quick look online to see what's around the place. So it'll be like, oh, this cool food festival is happening nearby that day, or there's a bunch of nice bars just down the road, that kind of thing. We go away quite regularly, so we're used to just having a rough idea of our plans and heading off. We like exploring, so as long as we know there's plenty to see, we'll just go with the flow. The most important thing for us is just having options and making most of the time really.
So hopefully that gives you a sense of who the active maximisers were. We conducted some further qualitative research to actually try and get further under the skin once we'd created some content for the active maximisers. And again, I thought I'd share with you some of the learnings today. There's a lot of information here, once more, again, on the website and in the toolkits, but just to give you a feel for it further. So when they're staying at home in the Republic of Ireland, it's all about familiarity and convenience because it's nearby. When they're staying for EU short breaks further afield in Europe, it's all about novelty and things that are very visually different. Northern Ireland has the opportunity to be a little bit of both. So what they're looking for in terms of inspiration, the active maximisers, as you've heard there, are very digitally focused. Instagram for them is a huge inspirer tool, and therefore for this segment in particular is key. But they move very quickly from just looking for inspiration to a few clicks away on their phone, actually starting to plan it in detail. So again, there's some of the tools there: Google Maps, Facebook, TripAdvisor, Booking.com and Groupon. They're using all of these. What they will also do is look at formal sources as well. So they'll start on Google, which is where your search terms are really important, but then they will look at tourist information sites such as Discover Northern Ireland, and they find that reassuring in terms of the authority. They need to really be able to see themselves in destinations. So when you're promoting to them, if you see them as your target audience, think about how you convey that sense of you could be here. They look at multiple touch points, so they validate and triple check everything across a number of different sources. We've done it ourselves, 3 screens open at once. But for the active maximisers in particular, that is a really important part of the process. And again, has to be mobile first in starting point. Although when they're getting to the serious end of booking, very often they'll switch to the desktop then. So, a lot of big words in here. I suppose the key thing is they need to understand how it all fits together. So itineraries and maps are key to this. Their knowledge and their geography of Northern Ireland is very weak. So again, we need to set that out and make that easy to understand, because again, active maximisers are scrolling with their thumb. Make it instantly understood. They like the idea of options. So while some find itineraries a bit constricting because they like to make it up as they go along, as she said, they like the idea that there's loads where they are and they can work it all out when they get in destination. One of the things that they see as a really strong aspect of Northern Ireland's offering is the fact we've got so much in such a small place. And they find that really motivating, that they can squeeze so much in to a short break, because again, they're typically staying 2 nights. Instagram, really important at the relevant driver consideration. And again, just because they're active maximisers don't mean they want full-on adrenaline all of the time. They like the bars, they like somewhere nice to eat as well, and a bit of downtime too. So again, relaxation, time together and reconnecting is important to them too. The next segment then are the open to ideas, and they represent 18% of the market.
My wife and I try and get little breaks to ourselves every now and again. We've young kids, so any chance to escape is welcome. Mostly it's time for just us, but we would take the kids away with us the odd time. When we go away, we like to relax, but we do a little exploring too. We want to see new places, so we look for things that are interesting or unique. We're always on the lookout for new places that can make the trip special. We want to encourage that in the kids too. Little explorers in new worlds. Sometimes we have an idea of where we want to go. If it's near home, like Galway or Cork or whatever, we usually know what's there. Any further away, I'm relying on a recommendation or something catching my eye. We usually go for hotels, but we go self-catering sometimes too, especially when the kids are with us. Self-catering works well as long as there are facilities nearby. Ideally, it'll be somewhere that's good value with plenty to see and do and be easy to get around. I do a bit of research before we go away anywhere, usually online. I tend to get accommodation first, then try to get an idea of the attractions or hidden gems nearby. So I need to be able to find good ideas online. Hopefully we can find plenty of those gems and exciting things to do and to share.
Okay. We have some qualitative research in the field at the minute, so we don't have the formal presentation through, but because we were all together this morning, I thought it was worthwhile giving you some top-line results from those groups that are going on at the minute. The open to ideas that you've just heard from, they take a number of short breaks throughout the year. They like to go abroad, they like to absorb themselves in culture, they're very interested in that, but the island of Ireland has been on their radar over the last few years increasingly, so they do like more activity-based events. They like to get out in the fresh air, so things like Coolkit, Gobbins, Giants Causeway, etc. Just a few examples, but gives you a flavour of the type of activities that they're interested in. As the guy said there, they want value. They look for deals specifically, yes, for hotels, but in wider accommodation too. They take at least 2 breaks with their partner and 1 break with family and friends, and that's very often around sort of birthdays, anniversaries, etc. They want easy options, convenient. They want it easy to organise and to plan, and as they said, they want things round where they're staying. So very often they will book their accommodation and then look at what else there is to do. They like the idea of getting out and about during the day, but then having sort of earned all those brownie points, they like some good food and drink in the evenings. So I think we can all identify with that. There's a few little quotations there. So they're saying they recognise there's no big crazy architectural or cultural differences like in Paris, or really big contrasts with home, but it's a place of simple pleasures. It's often about a great pint and a toasted cheese sandwich on a rainy day, knowing the locals' mannerisms and being comfortable with that rather than the mad dash everywhere else. So have a wee minute, think about when you get home how you can actually translate that into what you do every day and how you tap into that need. For them, the open to ideas are really keen for new experiences. They love the quirky and the different, and I understand the learning journey showed how that can be delivered through design, for example, but as I say, that is to follow. The final target market segment are the open-minded explorers, and they're 17% of the potential market.
My husband and I love travelling, and we've more spare time on our hands now that the kids are grown and I'm only working part-time. So getting away is easier now than it used to be. We look for nice hotels. Some are comfy and good quality, usually a 4 or 5 star, somewhere with a really great restaurant. We're both big foodies. Maybe a spa. It's our treat, so we don't mind indulging a little. We do a lot of city breaks and cultural type getaways. We like learning about places, getting a real sense of the people and the history and the culture. We like chatting to people and hearing stories and recommendations from them when we're in little local pubs and restaurants. That's what gives you a real sense of a place. And it makes for a more richer and more memorable experience. We do our research before we go, just to get a sense of what's there and an idea of our plan. It's all part of the build, isn't it? Getting excited for your trip. We look for historical things nearby, castles, gardens and the like. Then exhibitions, museums and any areas of natural beauty. Things like that. I also like having the option of little tours we can take or itineraries we can follow. That's a good way to see a lot of the best bits. For us, it's all about meeting interesting people, learning a little history and seeing beautiful places.
So again, much more structured, organised, like to plan, like culture. Like keep talking. There we go. Okay. Again, they take numerous short trips throughout the year. Within the island of Ireland, obviously, we want the ones that they're currently taking in the Republic of Ireland to be taken in Northern Ireland. They like to walk, they like to follow their own sporting interests such as fishing, motorcycling, and they also like relaxation. As you heard on the video, planning is vital to this segment. They enjoy about 3 breaks or more in a year, so they absolutely plan to get the most of every single one. Again, deals are important to them, and hotels, as you heard, and are very important to this segment, whereas the others will also look at self-catering, for example, and bed and breakfast. They do all of their research online, but they also rely on word of mouth as well. The types of deals that they're looking for are the likes of 2 nights plus a 3rd night free, so added value rather than price reduction. Complimentary dinner, access to spas, what came in the group spontaneously over the last few evenings. Again, they're looking for something different, so they are open-minded explorers. If you think about what that means, they're actively looking for something different. They're looking for a range of activities, but they're also looking at easy access. It needs to be convenient for them. Again, what we have in Northern Ireland, they can see as different and appealing, and they want to see something that they can't do at home. Some of them in particular are very motivated by beaches and coastal walks, getting away from it all. I want to be free as a bird. They want to be exhilarated in the fresh air. They want the full windswept experiences. So again, thinking about your photography and whatever you use to promote your business, think about how you get that sense of it doesn't all have to be perfect blue skies. It has to be really authentic and what we really can do well. They also like discovery, so new experiences, whether that's historical experiences, culture, hidden trails. That interaction with the locals in particular and hearing those local stories are really important to these guys. Sense of isolation and tranquility during the day, but they do like the food, the bars and the interaction in the evening. So again, think about that in terms of those itineraries and how you position your business. We've attempted to take on board all of the learnings of the task force and subsequent research in our campaigns, and there's just a few examples there. The good news is, without getting into all of the details of the chart here, is we're actually getting further and further top of mind as a short break destination with our advertising in the Republic of Ireland market. So we've gone from 38% of spontaneous awareness, which is where you say, tell me about advertising that you've seen recently, to 57%. So we're getting real cut through by applying the findings of the task force research and working in partnership with you in the CoOp campaigns. Again, we get all our campaigns independently evaluated because we're always keen to learn how we can refine and improve them. They continue to show success wave after wave, taking on board these findings. We've learned that when we communicate to you in advance our approach and our weekly rotations. That allows you to join with us, whether it's in social media conversations or content marketing, so everyone can amplify. We're working with the visitor information centres as well, so they're all aware of when they're going to be featured. We've also found that those industry who create a dedicated landing page linked to the offer featured in the campaign perform consistently well, but also that if they work hand in hand with us, the business that is driven through those campaigns typically grows further. For every £1 we invest in campaigns, the independent research shows we generate £65 of revenue. So I think that's good value for money in anyone's books. And again, as we encourage people up to Northern Ireland for the first time, we want them to come back and keep coming back. Again, the CoOp fund, those people who've joined with us, again, they're seeing direct increases in traffic from the Republic of Ireland on their own channels. And more importantly, they're seeing increased sales from that market too. We link directly to the industry, so whether it's your website or your social or your email activities, to your booking pages where we can. So again, if you have that in place for us, it's a much more precise way of us helping to drive business for you. And again, if you're, say, an accommodation provider, think about what they need. They want to understand how your business fits in the context of everything else they're looking for. So how they get to and from and what else there is to see and do nearby. So again, we found that those partners who actually put on that content page, things like how far are you away from the closest bars, restaurants, what's happening, the wider destination piece, that performed really well. And again, think about sharing that content with us. Think about itineraries as well. And again, those offers that you submit, think about how you word them. Think about the photography you send in as well, because again, all of those we find are making real differences. I mentioned seasonal spread throughout the year before. We've looked at the media analysis. We've listened to you as to what you want. And we see quite clearly that you want business January to March and October, December from this market. We also see that that's when the segments want to travel. So there's a perfect match there for seasonality as well. And again, we've worked very closely with some of you in terms of tracking that business. And that has been really important. We've generated some really good learnings on both sides there. I would say it's not always a straight line though, because I know myself, and you saw it there, they consult many sources of information, so they not always take the straightest line to book, but there are good learnings coming through. Again, in the coming year, we'll have 2 campaigns, autumn and spring, aligned to our core target market segments. Social and digital, you heard time and time again in those segments the importance of them. So we're active on our own channels on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. An audience of over 350,000. We also put paid content in. So again, a huge number of touch points. You'll see the numbers there. I'll not go through them all, but 4.5 million engagements with our brand throughout the year. So I don't underestimate the power of social media, and join those conversations. To help you do that, we have delivered a content plan. So again, taking the learnings from the campaigns and applying that to our Always On. It also came up in the year of food and drink, where if you saw the forward calendar, it allowed you to forward plan how you could join that conversation. So again, we're going to share those with you as well. In terms of our paid campaigns on digital channels, again, we're really honing in on the passion points and the interests of those core segments, and we're giving them content that really aligns with their interests and their needs across a whole variety of formats. So I would say to you, just because you look on their timeline and you don't see something there, that does not mean we haven't published it, because we do use techniques such as dark posts to reach niche audiences. So it means that people aren't spammed with things that aren't relevant to their interests. So just bear that in mind. PR as well is critical in terms of changing those perceptions of Northern Ireland and actually conveying what there is to see and do. The task force said people just didn't know what there was to do in Northern Ireland. So again, press team in Dublin, Fiona and the team, I think know many of you, but if you don't know them already, again, we'll be sharing contact details there. They do a huge number of farm trips throughout the year. PR aligned to the campaigns to support, again aligned to the content plan, and again all focused on the task force recommendations. There's a piece from Roisin Ingle recently which actually just says, do you know what, let's go north. Last week we ran a significant piece of content with Neil Delamere, the Irish comedian in the south, and again it has performed extremely well, all about changing those perceptions and showing what there is to do in Northern Ireland. So in the last year, it's just 9 months here of our financial year, there's been 7 Irish independent supplements written by Tourism Northern Ireland. So again, huge opportunity for content there. 8 TV shows created, radio coverage, 35 farm trips throughout the year, welcoming 72 journalists. So a critical part of everything we're trying to achieve. And some of the examples of the coverage there. Very briefly, a little bit on the Northern Ireland domestic market. 45% trips made in Northern Ireland, 29% of all revenue generated. We cannot forget that, and we need to sustain that. So whilst there are challenges and opportunities ahead, irrespective of that, the domestic market will still be a vital component of tourism here. In the same way we conducted the RoI task force, we're conducting a similar project for the Northern Ireland domestic market at the minute, which again will look at our core target market segments and give us a strategy and way forward. We work very closely with the market offices that are here today, and it's great to see them. Just to say, those farm trips, stay in touch with us, because you can see this is just one sample of how 1 month's farm trips can touch upon so many aspects of our industry. So stay in touch with us throughout the year. Let us know what you're up to, your new products, your experiences, and we would love to work with you to maximise every opportunity. We would ask for your continued commitment and focus. We have developed a marketing and sales opportunities booklet, which will be available from today and also on tourismni.com too. Thank you.